What I'm about to say in 30 minutes is so shocking that I really thought about not putting this video online. On January 14th, 2026, 3 days ago, something happened in a basement bunker in Davos, Switzerland, that the financial media is trying hard to hide. It took me 72 hours to make sure of what I'm about to say, and I'm still shaking. 44 countries have just signed a secret deal that makes silver the first money of its kind in modern times, the exact same level as gold. And hidden on page 47 of the 312-page document that was leaked is a passage that uses math to prove that silver will hit $350 an ounce. But this is what wakes me up at night. They already know in the schools. The main banks already know. The rich people already know. In the past 18 months, they've been slowly gathering metal while telling you that everything is fine. You might only have 90 days left before this breaks big news and the window shuts for good. Please help me right now. Don't let anything else bother you. Close all of the tabs. You will find out about the biggest wealth transfer in history in the next 30 minutes. Watch this movie and share it with anyone you care about financially. Let's start. You need to know about the pressure cooker that made this inevitable before I show you the leaked paper and explain why $350 is a good estimate. Because random things don't happen in business. Every disaster is planned. Every answer has been thought out for years. And when you look at how things are set up, the DAVOS announcement makes a lot of scary sense. Take a step back in time to January 2025. In a last-ditch effort to keep the economy alive, the Federal Reserve had just finished its 7th straight rate cut. The country owed more than $41 trillion. But this number changed everything and made the powerful people do something. Interest payments on the debt were higher than the total military budget for the first time in U.S. history. Take that in. We now have to pay 1.3 trillion yen a year just to keep the debt current. Not lower it or pay it off, just keep it from going into default. There was less and less trust in the dollar around the world. The BRICS countries were able to successfully start their alternative payment currency. 67 countries said they would convert some or all of their savings to D-dollars. China got rid of $300 billion worth of bonds. Saudi Arabia began to take yuan as payment for oil. The petrodollar scheme, which had been in place since 1974, was ending. Elites knew that the fall was going to happen. They were aware that 2026 would be the year of truth. They did what rich people always do. They made plans to get away. They made a boat for safety. That raft is made of silver. I need your full attention right now because I'm going to explain everything in the next 90 seconds. A dull session called Reimagining Global Financial Architecture was on the official World Economic Forum program for January 14th. In the media, no one cared. The real meeting was changed to a safe basement room in the Davos Congress Center, so that was done on purpose. There were armed guards at every door, and phones, recorders, and reporters were not allowed inside. There were central bankers from 44 countries, finance ministers from the G20, and major asset managers in that room. Together, they were in charge of $47 trillion. It was a 7-hour meeting. When those doors finally opened, they changed the world financial system in a big way. It wasn't on the news, though. You heard about panels with famous people, climate pledges, and talks about digital currencies. The real story was buried, kept secret, and no one could see it until now. I have received leaked excerpts from the original 312-page document from sources I will not disclose. What I'm about to say is the most important thing you will hear about money this decade. This is the exact wording from page 47. Says, in recognition of the strategic importance of silver to global industrial capacity, renewable energy infrastructure, and monetary stability, signatory nations agree to reclassify physical silver bullion meeting, LBMA good delivery standards, as a Tier 1 high-quality liquid asset for purposes of Basel. 4. Capital requirements, effective Q3 2026. End of quote. If your eyes just went blank, wake up. Pay attention again, because I'm about to put this into everyday English. And once you know what these 52 words really mean, you'll never look at money and wealth the same way again. Basel III, the current rules for foreign banks, divides assets into levels based on how safe they are and how liquid they are. Gold is the first level and is at the top. Anywhere in the world, banks can hold real gold and count every ounce as though it were cash. This is what is required of them. Not a deal, not a haircut. Gold is thought to be the safest thing in the world. Silver has been marked on purpose as Tier 3 garbage. Deposits in banks could only be worth 50% of the value of silver. Take a look at that. Regulators would only count $50 million in silver owned by a bank if it had $100 million in silver. So why would a smart bank pick silver when gold was worth the same? They didn't and wouldn't. This label wasn't made up on the spot. To keep the price of silver artificially low and let insiders stock up, it was meant to cut down on business demand for silver. As regular people looked for paper goods, this manipulation went on for decades. It will end in the third quarter of 2026, because in the eyes of every bank regulator in the world, silver will be truly Tier 1, the same as gold, on that date. And all of a sudden, every big bank will need real silver in their reserves more than anything else. Not paper contracts or ETF shares, but real metal that they can check and touch. Let me show you mathematically why $350 is not a guess, but a sure thing. You should get a calculator ready, because these numbers will shock you. The assets of the world's banks add up to about $180 trillion. Basel rules say that banks must keep 10 to 12% of their assets as Tier 1 high-quality cash assets. That's $18 to $22 trillion in savings that the world needs. At the moment, the world's banks hold about $2.8 trillion in gold as reserves. Now imagine that banks put just 5% of their Tier 1 reserves into silver that is now qualified. Only 5%. That's between $900 billion and $1.1 trillion in business demand for silver. Here's where the math gets really scary. Only 850 million ounces of silver are mined around the world every year. At the rigged price of $73 an ounce right now, that whole year's supply is only worth $62 billion. But wait, 56% of that production goes straight to factories to be used, never to come back. Silver is needed for solar cells. Silver is needed for electric cars. Smartphones need silver to work. Silver is important for rockets and satellites. That metal is no longer there. In reality, there are only 374 million ounces, or about $27 billion, that can be invested each year. Do the math on your own. There is a yearly supply of 27 billion next year and a possible new institutional demand of 900 billion or more. The number is 33 to 1. 30 thugs going after every single dollar of silver that's out there. The market is not going up. There's only one way to solve this mathematics puzzle: wildly and dramatically higher prices. But I haven't yet shown you the really scary part. The system is already breaking down, so let me tell you what's going on at COMEX right now. COMEX only has 18.2 million ounces of recorded silver as of Friday, January 16th, 2026, when the market closed. That amount was 31.4 million ounces 30 days ago. In just 1 month, the amount of goods on hand dropped by 42%. Metal is going out the door like crazy. At the same time, 147,000 lots of silver futures are still open for trade. There are 5,000 ounces in each deal. Those are the same as 7.35 million ounces of paper debts against 18.2 million ounces of registered metal. The amount is 40 to 1, 40 fake claims for every real ounce. What happens if even a small number of those paper holders ask for delivery? The day after Davos, on Thursday, January 15th, 340% more delivery requests came in at COMEX than the week before. The exchange got scared right away and used position limit rule 562.2A2 to stop trading for the first time since 2020. This rule limits the amount of metal that a single body can ask for delivery. Ask yourself why they would limit shipping requests if they don't have any metal to send. The financial news won't talk about the London Bullion Market Association because it's even worse. The LBMA vaults hold 722 million ounces of silver right now. That sounds like a lot, right? Not right. 84% of that metal has already been given out. It belongs to certain clients who have certain rights. It is owned by ETFs, central banks, and businesses. It can't be given to someone else or sold. There are only 116 million ounces that are available and not already being used. LBMA got new allocation requests for 340 million ounces in the 72 hours after the news in Davos. This is 3 times the amount of available supply that was asked for in just 3 days. The LBMA put in place what they call enhanced allocation protocols in a quiet way. That's business talk for rationing. You are given a quote if you ask for actual delivery today. You have to wait 8 to 12 weeks or 2 months to get metal that you already paid for. The market here doesn't work. In slow motion, this is a machine going into cardiac arrest. Now, here's something that should really scare you. The industrial users are freaking out, and they have a lot more resources and ties than you do. Silver is an important part of today's economy. It is completely necessary and cannot be replaced. About 20 grams of silver are needed for each solar panel. Each electric car uses between 25 and 50 grams. Every smartphone has 0.35 grams in it. It takes 28 grams for each 5G base station. Silver is the most electrically and thermally conductive element known to science. It also has antibacterial qualities and the best reflectivity of any element. There is nothing else on the periodic table that can be used in its place. In the last 48 hours, I've talked to people directly at 3 big electronics companies. All 3 said that senior managers gave them the same orders. Get 12 to 18 months worth of silver right away, no matter how much it costs. Samsung has agreed to buy 2.8 million ounces ahead of time at $95 an ounce. That's 30% more than what comics really cost right now. Tesla is not going through any exchanges at all. Instead, he is dealing directly with the main silver miners. Apple has signed exclusive multi-year supply deals with big Mexican producers at prices that have not been made public. The companies are storing up. They're willing to pay anything. Now, ask yourself, what happens to the coins that your local coin dealer sells when Samsung and Apple bid against you with huge budgets? Some watchers think that the miners will just make more silver and sell it for more money. That can't happen fast enough, let me explain. 75% of the world's silver comes from digging copper, lead, zinc, and gold. These mines are designed and built to get the most out of their main metal. Without redoing their whole business, they can't really increase the amount of silver they make. It takes a very long time and a lot of money to do that. The last 25% comes from basic silver mines that have to deal with terrible geological conditions. In the last 20 years, the average value of silver or grades has dropped 52%. In 2005, a normal primary silver mine worked with ore that had 13 ounces of silver per ton of rock. That amount is now only 6.2 ounces per ton. To get the same amount of metal, miners have to work twice as hard. No longer are there any easy high-grade resources. More and more, new discoveries are getting harder to find, deeper, and cost more to create. The average time between a new finding and production is now 12 to 15 years. Silver won't get a lot of new supply until at least 2038, even if it goes up to $350 tomorrow. I need to tell you what will happen with the paper silver market because this is where most buyers will lose all their money. The price of silver that is shown on banking websites is not the real price of silver. It is the cost of a piece of paper that says it might bring silver at some point in the future. This paper price was the standard for decades because very few contract holders ever asked for real delivery. The news at Davos just broke that system for good. Silver is now an object used to store money. In order to meet Basel standards, banks must store real metal in their vaults. For governmental compliance, paper promises don't mean anything. all of the institutions that hold paper silver are now working out the same scary math. What happens when everyone wants delivery in person at the same time? The answer is force majeure, breach of contract, and cash payment at prices that are much lower than the item's real value. I'm going to say this. Prices for paper may drop briefly as institutions get rid of contracts that aren't worth anything. Don't fall for it. At the same time, physical rates will go through the roof. It's possible for books to quote $60 for silver that, in reality, changes hands for $150 or more. This gap will get much bigger until either paper prices go through the roof to match reality or the paper market shuts down completely. In either case, people who hold real silver win and people who hold paper silver lose. A lot of people are scared that the government will take their things. So, let me talk about it right away. President Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102 in 1933, which said that Americans had to give up their cash. But the order clearly didn't apply to silver. Why? Silver was too important to industry, even in 1933. If it had been taken away, American production would have stopped. That reasoning works 10 times better now. Silver is used in all weapons, all hospitals, all phone networks, and all green energy installations. Silver can't be taken away by the government without hurting both the business and the military. It's not going to happen. The real risk you face is not being taken away. The real risk is that you will have to wait too long and won't be able to get silver at any price. This is the schedule taken from planning papers that were leaked. Phase right now is Q1 2026, a quiet buildup by institutions. As the central bank secures actual supplies, premiums rise and delivery times lengthen. This is the last chance for you. The people will officially approve the Davos Accord in the second quarter of 2026. A lot of news coverage happens. Demand in stores goes through the roof. There are serious lacks of materials. Premiums go through the roof. As of Q3 2026, Basel IV is now in effect. Silver is now officially Tier 1. Banks have to keep real metal on hand. Institutional demand gets very high. There is a lot of stress in the paper business. Full price finding comes in Q4 2026. Silver hits the $280 to $350 range that their own models predicted, and it might even go higher. We are now in Phase 1, which is the quiet gathering phase, the short time when knowledgeable people can still buy real metal at prices that will seem too good to be true in a year. Take a step back with me and look at the bigger picture. This is more than just silver. This agreement on money in Davos is called Bretton Woods 2.0 for a good reason. The post-war monetary order was set by the original Bretton Woods deal in 1944. At $35 an ounce, gold backed the dollar. Some other money was tied to the dollar. For 27 years, the system was stable. But Nixon broke the gold link in 1971. Fiat money has been used by everyone since then. Money that is only backed by promises from the government and trust from the people. That trust is finally dying after 55 years. The global elite are building a new monetary system before the current one falls apart totally. This is what the Davos Accord means. Silver and gold, which are both precious metals, have been picked as the base. The trade in this case is not a guess. This isn't a short-term bubble. This is the most important change to how the whole global economy measures and stores value. Changes in money are happening now that haven't happened since 1944. It might be the most important in hundreds of years. Many people will be affected by the choices that were made in the bottom of that building in Davos 3 or 4 days ago. Silver is at the center of a new monetary order that is coming into being. The $350 price goal is not just a guess or a wish. It's just simple math used to figure out how to change policies. Silver that you actually have in your hands can't be printed to lose its value. It can't be defaulted on by an organization that is failing. A bank that is in trouble can't freeze it. Another party that is falling cannot take it. It's real, physical wealth in a banking system that is becoming more and more fake. You still have time to get in the right place as of Saturday, January 17th, 2026, but that window is passing faster than anyone knows. All of that changes with the Davos Accord. Get into the right place before it's too late.